rise.
And the tape's not
105 District Court is now in session. Honorary Judge Andrew Whitlock.
Thank you. Court is now in session. Please be seated. We call case number 592168, the State of Indiana versus Ryan Ingram, now in session. Is the prosecution ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready?
Yes, sir.
We will now hear opening statements from the prosecution.
Okay. The evidence that we will show today will prove that Ryan Ingram has committed first-degree murder.
Thank you, counsel. Defense may now give their opening statement.
Alright. I'm here today to prove that my defendant, Ryan Ingram, is not guilty of first-degree murder because he is clearly unstable and he needs to seek medical treatment as soon as possible.
Thank you, counsel. Will the prosecution please call their first witness?
Call Ryan to the stand. Okay.
Ryan, please stand. Before you sit, stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes.
You may be seated.
Okay. So wasn't the main motive you supposedly, as we're hearing, as you killed the man, wasn't the main reason of the quote vulture-like eye, end quote?
Oh, I can say for sure. I never meant to kill the man. I really did love the man. But it was his eye. The eye. I couldn't take it. The eye. It was the eye. You have to believe me. It was the eye.
Well, since the man did in fact have the vulture-like eye, the main motive which was the main motive for the murder, since that was in reality, there was no way he could mix up fantasy with reality. So, I said this happened. So there's no reason he could mix up fantasy with reality, making it to where he has committed first-degree murder.
Will the defense like to cross-examine?
I'd love to.
You may begin.
Alright, yes, sir. Alright. So, Ryan Dale Ingram. Alright. So I have this letter here. Shortly after you were apprehended, you wrote this letter describing your experience. And I will quote passages from here. First of all, you began the letter saying, true, very nervous, very, very dreadful, nervous I had been in am. But why would you say that I am mad? It's easy to sharpen my senses, not destroy them, not dull them. Above all, the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in heaven and in earth. I heard all things in hell. So, you have shown multiple times out here that you seem to be suffering from paranoid auditory delusions. Right? These voices that you hear, can you describe them?
It's just, they're constantly here. Constantly talking in my ear. All I hear is him screaming all day long. I can't take it. Just the patter. I can't. They're going on and on. I can't make them stop. I had to. It's just the only thing I can do.
And here you clearly state that you couldn't kill the old man until you saw the eye. You stalked him for several nights because you hated the eye, but his eyes were closed. So you could never kill him without seeing the eye. So would you describe this as like a compulsion, or how would you describe this feeling?
It was the eye. Whenever I saw that eye, just shivers just down my spine. I couldn't take it. I had to get rid of it. I couldn't take it. It made everything worse. Like it was the worst thing ever. Once I saw that eye, every time I saw that eye, I couldn't do it. But once I saw the old man sleeping without the eye, I was reminded by how much I loved him. But then the eye. It's all because of the eye.
So in here you also mentioned how you had these terrors, this dreadful echo that distracted you, that you could sympathize with the old man when he killed you. How long has this been going on for?
Ever since it was almost the moment of. It just started as this small sound, but all I hear, and I still hear it. All I ever hear, just pitter patter, constantly. It never ends.
So see what you seem to be describing here. You're getting confused because towards the end of your letter, you wrote about how you could hear the heartbeat of the old man and how you regretted your actions. So can you still hear that pitter patter now?
Every now and then, whenever I think about it, you have to believe me. Whenever I hear that pitter patter, just oh no, it's hard. It's still worse. It's not. I still hear it.
Sir. You also mention in here how you're talking about how it's real, how the police officer making a mockery of you as you heard this. So clearly you cannot distinguish fantasy from reality, sir, and I believe you need help. Alright, so do you want to seek medical treatment or how, like what?
I don't know. I needed to stop. I needed to stop. The constant, the pitter patter, the thoughts, everything. I needed to stop!
That will be all.
Thank you, counsel. Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Wait, what? No, no.
Ryan Ingram, you may step down. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses to call?
No.
Will the defense please call their first witness?
Alright, I'll let bring Avery Toller to the stand.
Avery Tolley, please take this. Before you sit, stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So help you God. You may be seated.
Alright, ma'am. So, you have overseen many cases throughout your career, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so you would say you have plenty of experience with crimes of this type?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So, on the night of the confession, how would you say Ryan acted in your professional opinion?
Well, I would say he was very anxious throughout the whole conversation. I think Detective Briggs would agree. He seemed like he had been hiding something the whole time. And, well, what we found, he was hiding something.
Alright, thank you. So, you specifically put in your police report that the suspect seemed to be going mad. You agree with this statement, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright, that'll be all.
Thank you, counsel. Would the prosecution like to cross-examine you?
Yes, please.
You may begin.
Alright, so, isn't it possible that the defendant wouldn't be insane at the time of the murder because he could turn insane after he realizes what he's done and have a bunch of guilt and all that. And as it was stated in the police report, he seemed to be mad in name, not he was mad from the beginning. So,
Objection?
Yeah.
Isn't he leading the witness?
What? This is a question, Cooper.
It's a good question. He's not leading anything.
Is that?
Okay.
It's not supposed to be answered. Yeah. So, alright. What? I didn't come this out.
You said in your own words it's a question.
I'd like the question to be answered.
What was the question?
Yeah. Isn't it possible that he became mad while the police were there? As he said in the police report, he became mad. Not he was mad from the start. He seemed to be calm from the beginning and then later became like madder and madder as he supposedly heard this thumping sound in his head that he said was heart beating.
Yes, sir. I do think that Mr. Ingram could have gone insane while Detective Briggs and I were talking with him. But I'm not sure if it was guilt that drove him mad or just being insane, just clinically insane. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, that's all.
Would the defense like to redirect?
No, sir.
Avery, you may step down. Does the defense have any more witnesses to call?
No, sir.
Would you like to save any time for rebuttal?
Yes, sir. Alright. Alright, well, the defendant, Ryan Dale Ingram, clearly suffers from mental illness and is clinically insane. He can clearly not distinguish fantasy from reality as he's hearing these voices in his head, and he's suffering this uncontrollable compulsion. And the prosecution literally admitted that he was insane from the thumping noise afterwards shows that these paranoid illusions that he describes happening earlier kept on happening, and they came to a head during the climax of the incident where he confessed to everything. So I believe that he needs medical help and that he should be not guilty.
Thank you. We will now hear closing statements on behalf of the state.
I just have like one question about this. Isn't this trial about like if he killed the man or not, and not if he's insane?
The trial's about if he's guilty because did he kill the man because he was insane? Did he kill the man because he wanted to kill the man? Like, that's what the trial's about.
Alright then. Continue with it.
Okay, we will now hear closing statements on behalf of the state.
There we go. So the evidence shown today has proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the defendant is guilty. The defendant has no evidence that the defendant was not guilty. We have that the jury and you, honorable judge, give a verdict of guilty.
Defense, you may now give your closing.
I have very clear evidence that the defendant is not guilty, as the police report and the police officer in professional opinion stated that he clearly is mentally ill. She described him as very paranoid, and it fits with how he described the incident in his letter, where he described his voice that going on in his head. He has no reason to lie in this letter. It was a personal letter to himself to get things out. So he describes these paranoid auditory delusions that have been in his head for quite a while and have been compelling him to do things. And he also mentions the compulsion brought on by the vulture. He didn't want to kill the old man. He specifically stated in this letter and himself that he loved the old man. It was the eye and the compulsion. He needs help, not to be murdered or sent away. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. The court will now be in recess while the jury deliberates.